actually selected the winner for the social media contest. You guys selected me to be your speaker today. So thank you so much for selecting me, and I absolutely love this event because there's so much energy, and I want to actually be able to serve to you guys today because I feel like there's a huge gap missing in this industry, and a lot of people actually cannot get a deal under contract. So that's why I'm here. I am a mother and a wife. I am also the broker owner of Grace CRE, and actually my story is not so graceful. I actually was raised by an investor. My father's actually from Austria. He's an immigrant, and he didn't have the best opportunities or childhood. So my father, with not very many opportunities in the World War II era, like they didn't have any food, being adopted, he didn't have a way of making something happen. So, he could barely make it to the 5th grade, so that didn't work out. So he started doing construction. He lost his foot at 16 years old, and that didn't stop him. He kept on saving and saving until he got here to the US and actually came here when he was 21, didn't speak any English, but he found a German mechanic to actually work with. So which is really cool is they liked his tenacity and sent him to school, and he learned how to work on cars. From there, he actually bought a car lot here, like in Phoenix. I'm from the Phoenix market, and he worked and worked until he couldn't. He had multiple back surgeries, so back in the day, you'd actually overhaul your own engines, okay? So it would take a toll on the body. So what do you guys actually do when you need to change your transition or make a pivot when your body actually gives out? So my dad sold his car lot and actually bought apartments and retired at 36. So I didn't realize I was actually going to get in the multifamily business. I actually hated these. I hated these apartments. They were ghetto. My dad was a slumlord. My dad used to drive and like go into the alleys and go dumpster diving. I used to hide in the car, and like I was embarrassed and mortified. And he would just, pick up appliances, like old coolers for these apartments. And I was just like, man, these are POS apartments, right? But I wasn't understanding why my dad really owned these until like much, much later. So I started working when I was 12, started babysitting, and then that transitioned to selling door-to-door candy. Like I did whatever it took to just start making some money for myself. So I went ahead from there, got my first house at 19 years old. I rented out every single room, and even including my laundry room, because I needed a cash flow, right? So I thought it was like the most amazing opportunity. So now we're like coming into like the mid 2000s, and I got a really good job and a sales job at Lazy Boy. And I made my first $7,000, and I thought I was a baller, okay? I'm 21 years old, $7,000. I'm like, I'm gonna go out and buy a bunch of real estate. And my papa is looking at me, he's like, Sophia, you're going to lose everything. Don't buy anything right now. And this is when he's selling his apartments. So he bought them in the 80s, and now in the mid 2000s, he's selling them. I'm like, oh, Papa, you don't know what you're talking about. So I went out and got really bad debt, and they would just give out loans like candy, like literally a napkin. They didn't even verify anything. And I got a bunch of single family, actually, and what happened was every time I actually made a payment, I actually owed more. Okay, that's a problem. And then in the mid-2000s, the rents weren't all that much in Phoenix yet, okay? So as my dad made, he bought his apartment units for $5,000 to $10,000 unit back in the 80s. Now he's selling them for $70,000 a door, which is incredible, right? He's exiting, and I'm about to not exit. I'm about to lose. Here I go into a new marriage with my husband. We're starting a new family, and we end up losing everything, okay? We lost everything in 2008. I was 24. I was $1 million in debt. I had 2 repossessions, bankruptcy, and I lost it all. And I actually lost my beautiful job at Lazy Boy because who was buying furniture for their homes? People couldn't even keep their homes. I was pretty much screwed. So what I did was I was like, okay, I'm just going to go into the beauty industry. I'm going to get my hair license and, stay at home and start a family. So I did. But, that can only last for so long. I was putting groceries on credit cards for almost 3 years, trying to bridge that gap. And honestly, people couldn't even afford to get their hair cut. So I was trying to make something work. And when I had my second child, I had a 2-year-old and a 5-month-old, and I'm looking down at my like pay stub, and I'm like, all I have is $343 to my name. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't sit there and try to borrow for my next day, my next spread. It's not gonna be possible for you. So I went home that day and I told my husband at the time, and I said, you know what, I wanna go back into sales. And he's like, it's not the right time. I said, it's never gonna be the right time. And this is in 2013, guys. So we took out a loan against our 401k. I did a little differently this time, and I was gonna sell pretty little houses. That's what I was gonna do. But something had affected me being raised by an investor. When I had 10 brokerages lined up to go interview, I had one broker that sent me a piece of mail, a letter. And every day I walked by it with the real estate school, and it would just top of mind, right? Piece of mail, top of mind, top of mind. So in between interviews, I went to go see the broker, and I said, hey, I'm here for an interview. He brought me in. And remember when I said I had 35 jobs? I actually worked for him, and he fired my ass. But I was hoping he wouldn't recognize me. So, like, he's like, you look familiar. I'm like, you fired me, Steve. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. But I was 17. I was just a receptionist at the time for his brokerage. I didn't even know what they were doing at the time. So he told me that there was an opportunity to do multifamily, industrial, commercial, office, and single family. And that kind of like stuck with me. I'm like, that looks recession-proof. I won't have to be stuck with one niche. So I went ahead and got my license with him, hung it. I made my first transaction happen in the first 10 days. I sold 24 buildings my very first year. And I was like, I am like on cloud 9. I actually got to retire my husband, and I thought my life was gonna go out great. But unfortunately, even though you have massive success and you're like selling all these properties and now you're starting to make money, you're making headways, my relationship with my husband at the time was a very unhealthy one. So I'm telling you, if you're in a bad relationship and you want to raise your standards and not have your children watch like you suffer or have them watch you like in an unhealthy situation, having the income can get you out of really bad situations. So I'm so incredibly grateful that I was able to make enough income to be able to put myself out of that situation. But you know, like having that transition, like and going into a new relationship, I met my husband, Joshua. I met him at a little kid's birthday party. And, and the beautiful thing is, you know, God definitely had a better plan for me. He had the most beautiful person like lined up for me, someone that wanted to be a father for my 2 children. And you can't ask a man to be a father. They either want to or not. So I was so incredibly grateful that also to my husband, within a few weeks of him meeting me, he's like, I'm getting my real estate license and we're doing this together. And I was so incredibly blessed that we did that. Thank you. So for us, we worked at other brokerages, but nobody really understood about putting people's needs first. Now, something you guys need to know is commercial brokers are not NAR members. And what that means is they don't have to follow code of ethics. They do not have to co-broke. They represent one side, and they can put you in really bad situations. We wanted to absolutely be different. So we started Grace because we wanted to bring grace to commercial real estate. We wanted to be the first faith-based investment brokerage. So that way we can actually help and serve our community, and especially not put people in bad situations. So. What's been great is, you know, I was still doing a lot of transactions and making things happen for our clients, but I was requested to teach a multifamily class. So I was at a group teaching a multifamily class, how to get into multifamily, and a wholesaler brought me an off-market opportunity. I was really excited because I was like, okay, great, I can make 3%, I can make $20,000 off this deal. But even though like I had done already almost 1,000 transactions at this point, I was giving all my deals away. And I'm telling you guys, when you give your deals away, I given away at probably at least $500 million worth of deals that I could have bought myself, but I was too scared. I was still like traumatized from my mid-2000s. When was it gonna be my turn? So this time I actually took a chance on myself. I took $90,000 out of my self-directed pension plan, and I bought this little 7-plex with the hard money note at 10%. I took photos of the building. The actual owner didn't know what his property was worth, even though he was a broker himself, but he worked for HomeSmart. You gotta know your market, guys. So I went direct, bought it from him, and I closed on it within 3 weeks. I sold it all cash, and I made $373,000. So I thought it was so cool. I'm like, I need to do this shit again. So I'm gonna keep on doing this a lot more. So this was in 19. This was in 19. So I was watching the market kind of go like this. Now, I sold those apartments, for around like 175,000 a unit, 165. That's when the market was going up. Now, remember, guys, I started in 13. I was selling buildings for 40 to 60,000 a unit. In 19, now we're going into like the 170s a unit. So I kept on buying apartments. I would add value, or I would find properties that people don't know how to list multifamily, guys. There's so many opportunities and spreads on deals that you don't even know that are even there. I would say 80% of our multifamily that's listed by like residential agents slap it on the MLS and they put it on as a house. You can pick up a building like that and make $200,000 like in a matter of 30 days. I love finding those opportunities. They're super easy. But my whole point is like, I kept on going and going, and I knew it was for like a season. So let's go over like the market trends and like the actual seasons right now. So there's a big transfer of wealth happening. So anybody that's bought in the last 4 years will actually probably lose their building. I would say 60% of the people will lose their building. Right now we have like over about 1.5 to 2 million units available for purchase in like the next year that are going to be forced to sell. Let me give you a quick example. I sold a 96 unit in 2016 for $77,000 a door, and like 6 years later, he sold it in 22. I made that guy $18.5 million. He did nothing to the property, and a broker actually put him in this deal, and now he bought it for almost $27 million. So he's in it for $285. He's now putting $30,000 a unit into it. So now the market has dropped down to about, I would say, for his property, about $165 a door, and he's in it $330 a door. How do you bridge that gap? That's what I want to show you guys today. How do you find those deals? That's exactly why I'm here, is to actually help you. Let me give you a deal story. This is a quick example. I know that sometimes they'll tell you to buy really big apartments. Guys, the 2 to 100 unit range trades every 18 months or less, or we'll trade the same building 2 to 3 times a year. That's the fastest way to become a millionaire when you're buying multifamily. So that was the before, and then I renovated it, and I made it look like that. I bought it for $905. I rehabbed it for $275. The holding cost for $25. All-in cost was about $1.2. And then I made $1 million in just a little over 6 months. Thank you. Here's another deal example. This one was the before. Now, guys, this one is a little different. I got this one direct with the seller. I send out 7,000 mailers a month asking investors to sell their buildings. And the seller actually listed the property with me. We went under contract twice. The first buyer thought it was too much work. The second buyer did a full inspection and was like, oh, it's only a 2 cap, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? I'll just buy it because I need to buy it because I created a course. So I went ahead and bought it for fun. And this one I bought for $3.249. I rehabbed it for $900. Holding cost was $194, so the all-in was $4,150,000. And this one I made $1.385 in 10 months, and I got $210,000 back because I'm licensed. So these are perfect examples and this huge upside and what this means for you guys. So right now I have an opportunity for the MFM. I recently partnered with Bradley with their light speed system. So my course is going to be sold at a significant discount. You're going to get my essentials, so that way you can actually find off-market properties on your own, killer strategies on how to negotiate, how to get multifamily flips to 300 to 500% returns, how to protect your assets Like, number one, guys, you need to protect yourself in these deals, okay? Because you don't want to end up losing the property. And how to analyze a deal correctly every time. So we're giving that away today for $197, but today's really more about you guys. You can go to learningapartments.com, sign up, and if you want to just know more information, you can also just scan the thing and learn more information that way. But today, I actually want to bridge the gap, so we're actually going to do some real live role plays, okay? So who in here would like to come up and actually be the seller in this situation? I saw your hand come up first. You come up. I want you guys making a deal happen on Monday. I don't want you guys to wait. Yeah, I'll be with her. Hi.
Hi, I'm Ruth, Clearwater, Florida, and I have 6 crappy units in a shitty neighborhood in St. Petersburg.
Oh.
That's why I'm a seller, because I am a seller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that for real?
For real.
All right. Well, good thing I am a licensed broker in Florida, for real.
All right.
And I will help you sell those properties for you.
Terrific.
Okay. So let's just pretend that I'm cold calling you.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm calling you out of the blue.
Yep.
How much? You're going to have a small note on your property.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Ring, ring.
Hello, who is this?
Hi.
Sounds just like that, too.
Yeah.
What?
Hi, I'm Sophia with Grace CRE. May I speak to Ruth, please?
Who's calling? Oh, Sophia. Okay. Yeah, what do you want her for?
Not a problem. Ruth, I wanted to make sure that this is a good time to discuss your Palm Beach apartments.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, awesome. Well, Ruth, the reason for my call is we actually have a lot of investors actually looking for these type of apartments. And I wanted to know if there's any way that you would be interested in potentially entertaining an offer, or if there's any other assets in your portfolio.
Yeah, I'd be interested in hearing about that.
Okay, perfect. Now tell me, like, I'm looking at this on CoStar, and it says that your unit mix are 2 bedrooms, and then you have 1 3-bedroom, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. And then I see that it's a 6-plex, but I'm looking on tax records. It looks like it's on 2 separate parcels. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, perfect. And then do you actually have washer and dryers inside your units?
No.
Okay. Do you actually have a washroom that's leased, and like, is it like a 10-year lease, or is it something that you actually own?
No, the 3 unit is on the 2nd story, and there's just unused storage down below.
Okay.
It's separately metered, but it hadn't been used in a while, so I guess you could turn that into a laundry room.
Okay, perfect. So right now that your tenants actually have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then what are the lease terms looking like for your existing tenants?
They're on 12-month leases. On 3 of the units, they're all coming due March and April, so
Okay.
I want them to go 30 days, just go month to month in case an investor wants
Definitely.
to buy them and do something with it, giving them that flexibility.
Absolutely. Now, Ruth, tell me a little bit more about your property. Have you done any major capital expenditures in like the last year, or maybe a little bit longer?
No, both properties, so there's 2 units per property, 2 buildings, 2 roofs. So they need new roofs. There hasn't been any upgrades done, so the kitchens they're smaller than this stage.
Okay.
Those haven't been done. They're using wall shakers rather than AC units, and
I always call those window banger units.
there we go. Yeah. So they're really,
So
really
there's
not
no
much.
central air, and is it like gas for heating, or is it with the window ACs?
Windows.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. And then how old is the roof?
At least 20 years.
Okay, perfect. And then are they pretty much classic units inside? Have they ever been touched? Because I noticed that your building's 1960s construction, so are they renovated in the 80s, or are they original?
I would say, let's go original to think of it that way.
So
Yeah.
pretty original. All right. And then have the sewer lines have been replaced?
No.
Okay. And then so you're saying that they're individually metered for electric. There's, I'm assuming, 1 meter for water, sewer, and trash, correct?
Yeah.
All right. And then do you have a property manager in place?
I did,
Okay.
and we won the lawsuit, so I don't anymore.
Good for you. Yeah, I love that. Now, Ruth, most important question, do you need to do a 1031 exchange in order to sell this property?
Not on those. I do have a house in Lakeland that I want to do a 1031 on.
Okay.
That apparently we're going to talk about later.
Awesome. And then do you have any existing notes or debts on this asset?
Yeah, there's a little bit of, I'd say probably, what number do you want?
200 is fine.
Okay, 200.
Okay, perfect. Now, if you don't want to have to necessarily pay the gain, like if you're wanting to pay the taxes, that's fine. What we could also do is a seller carryback, where somebody could actually put down a down payment. We can do a contract for deed where, like, say, like, hey, if they just stop making the payments, you can just take your property immediately back. Or, like, you can just do a regular contract where we can just do a regular mortgage on your property, and you can earn income without having the liability of the asset. Is that something that you'd be willing to do?
My husband's more interested in being done with them because of the problems that we've had in the past.
So
but we have talked about carrying paper, and
if they give a decent down payment, would that make you guys more comfortable?
Yeah, I think for him, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to make sure, like, do you want to wrap your existing note that's in place, or do you want to actually have that paid off and then have more liquid in the bank for you guys?
I think paid off.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you don't want to wrap the existing note? No.
I don't think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Now, Ruth, I'm going to gather this information. I'm going to come back with a proper analysis. It's going to be complimentary, and see if this is the right time for you guys to sell.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Yep.
Let me get your email, and then what I'll do is I'll set an appointment, because you never want to push somebody into something, because you want to be more of service to them and create a win, right? Did I tell her, like, she needs to sell it to me? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? Was I concerned about, like, her, like, exiting?
Yeah.
Like, do I want to create a relationship? Relationship's number one, okay? Whether I'm buying from a seller direct, or I'm being a broker, or I'm being a syndicator, any of those items, like, it's super important that I make sure that she's in the best position possible. Thank you, Ruth.
You're welcome. And just to add on, so the calls that I get, they all want to give me a price by the end of the phone call. They want to run it down. They want to run the property down and say, oh, we got to do all of this. Well, then we can only offer this much, which is why I answer the phone very skeptically.
She's like, get off the phone.
Yeah, and you didn't give me any of that. And as a seller, I'm as a potential seller, that was a really I know, but just like as a random cold call where I'm not thinking of selling, that was a very different approach than everything else I've gotten.
Yeah, we got to bring some grace to
awesome.
you. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you. Awesome. So I talked to a young lady. She's been here for almost a year, Maggie. I'm going to put her on the spot today. Let's go. She hasn't done her first multifamily deal. She's about to. We're going to make it happen Monday, guys. Let's go. Hi, girl. Perfect. So we are going to now call the lender direct, okay? The reason why I'm telling you guys to call the lender directly is because the seller is going to lose it anyway. Do you think they're going to want to talk to you? There's so many groups that have lost, like, hundreds of millions of dollars, and, like, getting through to one of those sellers is probably not going to be as good of a call. So I'm telling you guys to do something a little different. You're going to go directly to the bank that actually has a note on the asset, all right? So you're going to be the lender.
I don't know if I know how to do this, but I will try.
Okay, we're just going to pretend. So
Okay.
right now, we're going to, hypothetically, it's Palm Beach Apartments, okay? They owe about $20 million.
Okay.
It's worth $15 million now, okay?
Okay, so I have their note for $20 million, but it's only valued at 15.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, so we're going to try to short sell this note.
Oh.
All right?
Okay.
All right. All right, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, may I speak to Maggie, please?
Yes, this is her speaking.
All right, so now I'm going to be not a broker. I'm going to be Grace Equities. Okay, this is syndication. I'm directly now the syndication group. Okay. Hi, this is Sophia with Grace Equities. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, actually, our group has a $185 million family office portfolio that we're actually needing to place right now. And I noticed that, like, you had a lot of notes in your actual database. And the one that we're actually looking at is Palm Beach Apartments. Now, I know that you, like, this note is due in, like, the next 4 months. Have you been in communication with the current owner?
We have not.
Okay, so they haven't called you to refinance or reposition?
No, they have not.
Okay, so I did some due diligence on CoStar, and I noticed that it's a mismanaged property. The vacancy is now up to 23%. I noticed that the rents, obviously, like here in Phoenix, they've inverted, about 25%. And I know now that they're giving around 2 to 3 months in free rent. So how are you guys going to be able to bridge that gap in the next 4 months?
That is a great question. We should probably get that taken care of.
Yeah, so what I wanted to propose is I would love to bring you an offer potentially where we can bridge that gap and use you as our current lender, so that way you can maybe create new terms, and that way we can actually create a win for us to be able to pick up this asset, be able to rehab it. I know that, like with the debt on the bridge notes not being so favorable right now, I don't want you guys to lose that much, but I also want to bridge that gap and show you that value I can bring to be able to come through on this asset, so that way you guys are not having to sell it at a significant loss.
I do think that's worth a conversation.
Well, perfect. So what I need to do is let me know if you can talk to your, we'll just say like bank manager or whomever, and then let's set up an appointment to see what we can do and create.
Absolutely. That sounds great.
Awesome. Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you.
All right. All right, who wants to talk to a broker? Hi, Austin.
Hello, Sophia. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So, I'm going to be your broker, and you're going to call me about Palm Beach Apartments. It's a 96 unit here in Fort Lauderdale. Go ahead.
Awesome. Hello.
This is Sophia. How can I help?
Hey, Sophia. This is Austin. We have about $100 million that we need to place for our current company. And we came across this listing in Sun Beach, the 92 unit deal.
Yes. Yes, it's still available.
Awesome. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? We'd like to know more about whether it's unique or whether it has electric metering that's individual for the apartments, or what's your general overview?
Yeah. So for me, I'm already thinking red flag. He doesn't have the money. Okay, let's redo this.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to be you. You're going to be the broker.
Okay.
Because I get these calls all the time and I never help them, okay? If you want a broker to take you seriously, don't say oh, I have this XYZ, I'm looking for distressed assets, I'm looking for a BC and this criteria and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, sorry.
No, you're
be
good.
real with you.
You're totally good.
Okay. All right, Austin. You're the broker.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, Austin. My name is Sophia Willets. I'm with Grace Equities. How are you doing today?
Oh, hello, Sophia. Very nice to meet you. I'm Austin.
Awesome. Austin, is this a good time to talk regarding Palm Beach Apartments?
Yeah, I have a few minutes.
Okay, perfect. I already reviewed your offering, Miranda, and your portfolio. We're actually extremely motivated right now. I actually have about $185 million to place in our family office, and we are looking for something like this to potentially place an offer on. So you want to get the broker kind of excited right away versus I have $100 million, bullshit. Don't tell me that. Really okay, first off, I know he's working with a private office. I'm going to start listening a little bit more. And then secondly, I'm more hey, I've already reviewed your financials. Hey, I've already taken these steps. I'm already interested in placing an offer. I'm going to talk to you now, okay? Don't, otherwise, you're wasting my time, okay? All right, perfect. So, based off of your current financials, and I've already did my underwriting, I've already done my due diligence, I've ran my own comps, I saw the pro forma that you made, so I can see why you were offering this price. How motivated is your seller?
They're fairly motivated. Their loan is coming due in about a year and a half.
Oh, okay, perfect. So I'm just planning. Do they have any existing loan assumptions or extensions that are available for their financing?
No, they'd have to refinance.
Okay, so they absolutely have to refinance. Now, how much do they currently owe?
Currently, they owe about $10 million on it.
Okay, so right now I see it's listed for 30. I know the property's performing okay, but based off of the current interest rate and based off my underwriting, I think I'm going to be only able to offer XYZ. Is that something that your seller may entertain?
Potentially.
Okay, perfect. I also want to know how motivated is your seller to have to sell? Or is he going to just be able to raise the capital to keep it and refinance it?
Currently, they're trying to increase occupancy. They're doing several things to try and make it work. Hence the reason why we have it listed as it is. But in this very moment, they're hoping that in the next 6 months they can get enough to just keep it. But if not, then we'll just have to sell it.
Maybe your seller's willing to potentially do a seller carryback as well?
Yeah, that could be.
We definitely have some capital, but let's work with your seller, work with the existing note holders, so that way we can make it an incredible opportunity for the both of us. Now, Austin, I am highly motivated because I'm looking for other deals just like this. What other opportunities can you bring me that are not listed right now?
Actually, we just had one come across our desk, Belton Crossings.
Okay, perfect. And just so you know, since I'm a loyal buyer, I'm also a broker, but I buy direct. I'll let you relist my property because I want to make sure that, like, you give me the opportunities, I promise you I'll relist it with you.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So you always want to feed the broker that feeds you, okay? Don't screw them over. They won't feed you a deal again, okay? So, yeah, that would be great, Austin. I would love to create this relationship with you because I'm looking for a professional and a local just as yourself, so that way we can continue to do these transactions. We're looking to at least pick up 4 more buildings this year, so we would love you to be our broker, even though we're going to use a lot of them, okay? But still, we love you to be our broker to bring us these opportunities.
Awesome. So can you repeat how you phrased that, where you said that you're going to give deals back to them? Because we're going to resell, so how did you phrase that?
So I'm a broker, right? If you have your license, just let them know, like, hey, I'm going to make sure when we retrade this building that we list it with you. Because when the broker hears that, they know they're going to be fed again, and that way they're not like, hey, nothing's worse. Remember that $27 million deal you guys got? That guy, I found him the off-market deal, and then he listed it with Marcus and Millchap. I made him $18.5 million, and he couldn't throw me a bone back. I'll never bring that guy a deal again. So that's my point. So feed the people that feed you. It's very important. If you guys want to win in this game, feed your broker, okay? Or be the best broker you possibly can be, or learn how to get your deals on or off market without one of us, which, you know, is Learning Apartments. So, but I do both. So we partner with our agents, we partner with our students, we partner, and we want to create like lots of opportunities to win. But like, it's just seriously just rechanging how you speak to people and create that relationship, because you want to nurture that relationship because it can really blossom into something beautiful. Thank you, Austin.
Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you so much, guys, for selecting me. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a God-blessed day, and I look forward to working with you here in the near future.
Let's give it up for Sophia Willets on your feet.